Sorry.
What episode is this, Billy?
Episode
we're
20.
laughing.
Yeah. Episode 23, y'all. Welcome.
Welcome. Let me just tell you something really quick. One of our biggest fears always is that we're not going to hit the record button before we start doing it. And Billy always wants me to hit record yet. You hit record yet. And since we're in the middle of our bulk recording time right now, we just finished one episode. We started this one, and we were just into our intro here talking about things. And I looked up and I was like, Billy, we're not recording.
Oh, shit.
We're like, oh, crap.
Man.
So, you guys missed the best intro of all time, but we're gonna give it to you again.
Pretty epic. It's not out there, though. It's nowhere to be found.
Oh, my God. Thank God we caught that early. Jeez,
yes, but we're here now, and it's episode 23. What's going on, Tim?
Well, it feels like just moments ago we were turning episode 22.
Yeah, just like minutes ago.
Here,
right? Just
we are.
Yeah, episode
number 23. Representing, what'd you say for Michael Jordan out there?
It's our MJ episode, the most sought after basketball number for all those little Pee-wee and
that's right. Everybody wants 23 except for you. You want 34.
I want 30. I went straight for 34.
34.
Diesel. It's all about domination and
Shaq
power.
Diesel.
Woo, woo. Shaq Fu.
Well, today, what's going on in our world here? One of our passionate, all-time, long-time listeners' birthday is today. My mother-in-law, Leslie's mom, Georgia Bergen. It is your birthday.
Happy birthday.
We're so excited it's your birthday. I can't wait to celebrate with you later on tonight. We're going over to Leslie's brother's house, and he is making us enchiladas for dinner.
What? I didn't know that.
I know. It's not like I didn't talk about this just a few minutes ago. But anyhow, so Georgia, you didn't know, but you just got a double birthday. Warm wishes to you because we just talked about this a few minutes ago. But anyhow, happy birthday to you. Thanks for being a listener. We appreciate you. And like I said, look forward to celebrate with you later. Upstairs, I'm trying to remember everything I just talked about. I did see the cake for your birthday, Georgia. And for our listeners out there, it is delicious looking, and I can't wait to get into some of that cake later on.
I want some cake. I just want some food. I'm so
hungry.
I'm so hungry.
What I was saying before, what made me trigger the fact that we weren't recording is that I said, thank God it wasn't recording because Billy just had to watch me like scarf down like 3 or 4 peanut butter crackers because I was so ravenous for food. But
that
thanks
little
for
red
still staying with me,
clicking.
Billy.
Oh, snap.
Oh my God, it's not recording.
But hey.
It is recording this time, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. We are 3 minutes in. Well, I don't even know. Yeah, 3 minutes in now. So we're in it.
Yeah.
So that's great.
We're in it now. We're in it now. So, Billy, what's for dinner tonight for you? We're thinking about food. We're so hungry right now.
I really want some buffalo wings, but the girls have dance tonight. And so Lily goes like almost right after school. And then we pick her up and then we drop Chloe off and she goes until like 8 o'clock at night. So tonight we'll not eat with her. She'll have dinner when she gets home because she comes home so late. And so we can't go to Wings because that's one of her favorite restaurants. But the problem is we're recording this on a Tuesday. At our wing restaurant, kids eat free.
Oh, dang.
Dang it. So we're going tomorrow and have to pay for their food. Gosh, but
don't be so cheap, Billy.
I know,
buy the dang
right?
wings.
I know. We're gonna buy.
So, is tonight a Chick-fil-A night? Maybe.
No, that was last night. We tried to go to
man.
We tried to go to Dairy Queen, and then they were like, "You can't come sit inside." So we're like, "Bump that." And so we went across the street to Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay. What about how about some Chipotle? I'm having enchiladas, and or maybe you should have some nice hot soup for your throat, and you're not feeling great right now.
Yes, if you just listened to the last episode or last week, and you're like, "Oh, he's still raspy," yeah, filming a double podcast with no voice almost, is fun, but you all are worth it.
You are worth it.
You are worth it. But I have my cough drops. I have my water. Did I just mute that when I coughed a second ago, or did I just flat out cough?
No, you muted it. Okay, and I just kept talking over you while I saw you coughing on the screen. So
Thank
I was
you.
Like if you heard me say enchilada is really loud because I was
enchiladas because Billy's about to die over here. Yeah, I'm just glad I didn't just cough in your ear because that would be rude.
You did not.
Thankful for this mute button.
And for continuity, we even changed hairstyles, hats, shirts. I mean, and we'll get into the shirts here in a few minutes. But we wanted to give you a whole different, fresh vibe. If you're listening out there, you have no idea what the heck's going on anyhow. But that's why you got to come over and check us out.
Check us out on YouTube. Hey, do both. Leave us a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify, or hit that 5 stars. We love stars. The more stars, the better stars.
It does. It makes us feel good about our life and ourselves and our choices.
Yeah, but come on over to YouTube too. Watch the entire video. We need those hours. Come on, watch the whole thing. So
we need to make that money on YouTube.
Yeah, we need to make that money, honey. So, yeah.
Oh my God,
there it is.
I find myself literally laughing at everything that I say or you say. Even Leslie pointed out, she's like, "You guys think you're really funny." I was like, "I don't know."
Yeah,
we laugh. I have a good time, man. Like it's contagious. You got a little laughter going on.
You guys think you're so funny.
Yeah, you're so funny.
Gosh,
we are so funny, Leslie.
We are.
But thanks for listening.
Yeah, but thanks for the download.
We appreciate you. Yeah, even if you don't like us, but I know you do. Anyhow, I'm really putting myself in a hole here. Billy, help me out.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Yep.
Get me out.
Yep.
Pivot.
Hey, can I just tell you how awesome Michelle is? She's just awesome. That's all I want to say.
Billy, I'd rather you talk about Coach Saban than bring that up and try to one up me.
Well, can I tell you how awesome Coach Saban is?
All right, I can almost deal with that.
Roll Tide.
Oh gosh,
man. Sorry, y'all.
You should be sorry for that. Nobody needs to hear any of that. But thank you for our passionate listeners out there. We love you.
Yes,
anyhow,
thank you for your support. Yes.
All right. Well, we're starving, and and we've been recording for 15 days straight. So we got a great episode to get into. We
really do. I'm really excited about this episode. This one,
me too.
We've been talking about for a minute, and so you all are in for a spooky treat.
Well, there ain't nothing to it but to do it. Are you ready, my friend?
You better believe it. Let's get into all the everything, y'all.
Everything, we've got it all. We've got it all. Small, weird, or tall. So grab your snacks, sit back, don't stress. Cause Tim and Billy talk about the randomness. Information prone to UFOs. We'll take you where the weirdness goes. It's two guys talking way too loud about stuff that makes no sense, but we're kinda proud.
This video contains discussions of disturbing events, including murder, which may not be suitable for younger viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, welcome back to another amazing episode of All the Everything Podcast. As always, I'm one of your co-hosts, Tim Sawhook. I'm joined by the best in the business. He may be sick, but he's here. I'm here. Billy Parchman.
Woo woo! What's up, Tim? What's going on?
Well, I like that voice, man. I like that voice. And that voice might be really good for the episode we're talking about because it gives you a little bit deeper, darker, scary voice.
Sinister.
Because today we're talking about the most haunted places in America.
What?
Ooh, let's bring down the vibe. Make it a little bit darker in the room. A little spooky. And we tried to be in sync with our outfits today. So, Billy, tell us what we're wearing.
We are sporting that Haunted Mansion merch, y'all. Look at this. Look at this.
Can you see
it's like on the wallpaper.
Boom, baby.
Ooh, very nice.
Thank you.
Don't close your eyes. Don't try to hide, for a silly spook may sit by your side. Okay, sorry.
Oh, I thought you were going. I was feeling it. Go finish the song. So yes, we've tried to put on our spooky kind of shirts or clothing for you to get into the mood, get that scary vibe so we could feel it,
Yes.
So today we're talking all about the most haunted places in America. Now, we couldn't really talk about every haunted place in America because that would be too long and we just don't have it in us. And but we do have we're just like slap happy right now.
Yeah, we are.
I can't even focus. We have 2 stories each plus one in our local hometown area that's haunted as well.
So that's 3 stories each.
3 each. Well, 2 stories plus it's like a bonus, Billy. All right. we have too much together time. It's time to go our separate ways. But Billy, I'm going to have you kick it off today with your first haunted place in America. What do you got for us?
Oh, well, today I'm bringing you a tale straight from the dark, twisted history of old New Orleans.
Oh,
it's a story of wealth and unspeakable horror. A house so infamous, so cursed that even today people refuse to set foot inside. You might know, if you've been to New Orleans, you might know what I'm talking about. We are talking about the LaLaurie Mansion, which is down in the French Quarters.
Okay.
1140 Royal Street, to be exact. We're going to talk about this mansion and all the horrors that took place because it's crazy, y'all. It is crazy.
I'm in. I got the popcorn. I want to hear all about it.
Well, let's set the scene, okay? Picture this. It's the early 1800s. New Orleans is alive, and the wealth and decadence, it is a party, right? It's New Orleans. They have these lavish parties going on, gaslit streets, and a society that thrives on appearance, And at the center of it all was Madame Delphine LaLaurie, who had high status, right? Married to a respected doctor, and she hosted like grand balls in her luxurious home, right? To the outside world, she was just the picture of Southern grace. But behind closed doors, a monster lurked.
Oh.
So, the rumors started slow, whispers, in fact, of how she enslaved her servants, and they would just mysteriously disappear. Neighbors reported hearing screams in the dead of the night. Oh, but in a city where wealth made you untouchable, no one dared to say anything. That was until the fire. So, on April 10th, 1834, in the early morning hours, a fire broke out in the mansion kitchen. The flames spread fast, drawing crowds of panicked citizens. When the firefighters burst inside, they found something far worse than the flames. Chained to the stove was a woman, an enslaved cook, who had deliberately set fire. But why? Because she would rather burn alive in the house than to continue enduring the horrors that was within.
Oh my God.
That's when, that's when the doors to their world and their attic were open. And what laid inside turned the bravest men cold as stone. What they found was a torture chamber, a room of just unimaginable cruelty. Enslaved men and women were shackled. Their bodies were mutilated in ways too gruesome, too fully to describe. Some had been subject to twisted experiments. Others were left to suffer in terrible silence and terrible pain.
Oh my gosh.
It was an evil beyond comparison. So when the truth came out, the city erupted in rage. A mob stormed the mansion, tearing everything apart. They tore the mansion down, basically.
Oh, wow.
But Madame LaLaurie, she was gone. She disappeared. She slipped away in the night, never to be seen in New Orleans again. Some say she fled back to France, but others claim that she lived under a different name, escaping justice entirely. But the house, ever since that night, It has never truly known peace. So over the centuries, people who dared to live there have spoke of strange noises, phantom footsteps, chilling screams echoing throughout the hallways.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Some claim to see spirits of the victims that live there, trapped in eternal torment. But others, even in broad daylight, have felt like something was watching them.
Yeah.
Just waiting. Could you imagine just feeling the evil? Oh my gosh. Today, the mansion stands as one of the most haunted locations in America. No one has lived there for long. Even Hollywood royalty, the one, the only, Nick Cage, owned the house. And he only
owned it
he only owned it for a couple years, only selling it off after experiencing, something he never really explained. So tour guides, they refuse to linger because they do those ghost tours throughout the French Quarters and stuff. They don't stay very long outside the iron gates after sundown. Paranormal investigators have captured eerie whispers, disembodied cries. Anyone who stands beneath the shadows often walks away feeling just unsettled and uneasy. It's kind of like her evil spirit never left. So next time you're down in the French Quarters, strolling past 1140 Royal Street, ask yourself this: do you hear the whispers? Do you feel the chill in the air? And if you do, just keep walking, because some places, they're never meant to be disturbed. Oh, goodness gracious. So that's a little history about the house, right?
That's so creepy.
Yeah. And you know what's so crazy? I remember seeing this back in October. The mansion has been completely remodeled, and it is like a luxury mansion, like this huge wine cellar.
Okay.
Yeah. It went on the market for sale, and I saw the pictures on Zillow, and they were crazy. And I didn't know like the super history behind like the torture and all this other stuff. And it's just like, I was thinking, oh, this is just like one of those really crazy mansions in the French Quarters. But somebody that does like haunted tours and stuff ended up buying the house. So I guess it's perfect, right? Yeah. They bought it for $6 million less than what they were asking for. So, I guess they got a deal, and I guess they can use it for tours and like almost like an Airbnb. I don't know what they're doing with it, but
oh my gosh,
could you just imagine staying there?
No way. I mean, some of the stuff you described that people were hearing.
Yeah,
I couldn't. No.
Yeah.
The thing is, I love these kind of stories. I really do, but I would not be the person going to stay at these places.
That's crazy, right? In the 1800s, they had turned the mansion into an all-girls school. Could you just imagine these poor little girls having to stay there?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so they said people would often wake up with mysterious scratches and bruises.
Oh man.
They were claimed to be attacked by some unseen force. They said that when they went into the attic, when they busted in the attic, there was just chains, and the entire floor was just covered in blood.
Oh my God.
And I guess her husband was like a doctor, and I guess he was doing almost like evil experiments on these people, and just like the evilness, and just you can go to a place and feel the evil. I truly believe
University of Alabama.
No, well, parts of it, but we'll get to that later. But you could just feel the evil in some places. I felt it before. I know this is just New Orleans in general, but I truly believe voodoo is real. Yeah. And so, goodness gracious, but there's no way I would want to stay, especially in a city that's so, I don't know. It's got that presence, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, everybody feels that. I think everyone, you think New Orleans, you do think about voodoo, and you think about the old cemeteries, and you think about the haunted places for sure. I think that's pretty.
New Orleans is just it's got that vibe, and a lot of like the old southern places like Charleston and different places like that.
Savannah for sure.
Yeah. They still have that vibe, especially like back in the Civil War and different things like that. And there's a lot of ooh out there. You know what I mean? That's all I can say is ooh.
There's a lot of good and a lot of ooh out there.
Ooh. Yeah. But yeah. So that's that is the LaLaurie Mansion there in the French Quarters. Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh, good job on that. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Picturing some of the things that you mentioned, like those images, just trying to picture them are so disturbing.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Are you ready for mine? As you can tell, it's story time. Tim has put on his glasses. Bump, 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 bump. All right. Let's take down the mood. Imagine a house where staircases lead into ceilings, doors open into solid walls, and hallways twist like a maze with no end. Sounds like something of a psychological thriller, but it's real. Welcome to the perplexing, ghostly world of the Winchester Mystery House. Ooh, girl. Have you ever heard of the Winchester Mystery House before?
You're going to give me some details. I've heard a little bit, but you're going to...
Okay. So I've actually heard this whole story played out on multiple podcasts. One that was done very in-depth and really well was on our girls' podcast,
Creeps I was about to ask.
Creeps and Crimes podcast. Go check it out if you haven't. Anyhow, they did an amazing story of telling of the whole Winchester Mystery House. And so I think that would be a really good one to share with you guys today. So the story begins with Sarah Lockwood Winchester, a woman who was born into privilege and married into an empire. She was the wife of William Wirt Winchester, the only son of the man behind the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, makers of the Winchester rifle, famously known as the gun that won the West.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So in the late 1800s, tragedy hit Sarah's life hard. She lost her infant daughter, Annie, to... I'm not familiar with this disease. It's called marasmus. So it's MARASMUS.
Okay.
I did not look up the disease, but I had never heard of it when I was researching this. Then in 1881, she lost her husband to tuberculosis. Now a widow in her early 40s, Sarah inherited a massive fortune, right? Around $20 million at the time. Plus 50% of ownership of the Winchester Company, which gave her a daily income of around $1,000 a day, which was an astronomical amount of money back in the 19th century. So imagine that.
Right.
You're getting paid $1,000 a day after marrying into this wealth. But Sarah's wealth came with a heavy emotional burden. According to legend, and let's emphasize in quotes, they say legend, right? Sarah was racked with guilt over the bloodshed caused by the Winchester rifle. She allegedly sought out a spiritual medium in Boston, right, who told her she was being haunted by the spirits of those killed by the weapon, and that she must build a house for them to continuously appease them, or else she'd be next.
Oh my gosh.
So she believed that all these ghosts and these spirits of everyone who's been killed by a Winchester rifle was haunting her based upon this medium in Boston, right? And that she had to build this house to continuously appease these spirits forever. So soon after, she moved west to San Jose, California. And in 1886, she bought an unfinished 8-room farmhouse. And that's when things got truly bizarre. For the next 38 years, Sarah oversaw constant construction. No architect, no blueprints, just perpetual chaotic building based on her own sketches and instructions, often delivered after holding nightly seances with her, what she called in the blue room. She had a seance like every single night. Okay.
That's so weird.
So check this out. The result was, remember, it started out as 8 rooms in this farmhouse, right? The result is a sprawling, surreal mansion, 160 rooms, 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors, including trap doors and drop-offs, 47 fireplaces, 40 staircases, many leading to ceilings or nowhere at all, 17 chimneys, some non-functional or were built upside down, 13 bathrooms, but only one that was usable, and dozens of secret passages and false doors.
Oh, man.
So picture the scope of this thing, right? 160 rooms. All these different 40 different staircases going all these different places, some ending nowhere, some ending in trapdoors. It was just absolutely crazy. Now, this next part reminds me of the actual haunted mansion. Sarah was obsessed with the number 13. 13 chandeliers modified to hold 13 candles, windows with 13 panes, stairs with 13 steps, and even a spider web window with 13 colored stones. I mean, 13 is a big thing on the haunted mansion ride, right?
Yeah.
At the cake that has 13, the clock spinning with 13 on it.
Yep.
But the house was really designed to confuse spirits. That's what they're asking. Was it really designed to confuse spirits? So some historians suggest that the strange construction was more a result of Sarah's eccentric mind and limitless budget and the supernatural fear that she had. Others suggest she was dealing with untreated grief or a possible mental health condition, and the construction was her therapy. Well, I guarantee she had some mental health issues going on.
Sure.
Not to make light of it, but she's gone through all of this. She's doing these nightly seances. She's getting caught up in all these things. So, but, keeping that in mind that this maybe just been a figment of her imagination, or, they say construction was her therapy. Still, stories of hauntings persist. Visitors and employees have claimed to hear phantom footsteps, disembodied voices, cold drafts, moving shadows, and have even seen a spectral figure in coveralls believed to be a former handyman of Sarah's era. Paranormal researchers have called the home one of the most haunted in the country, and shows like Ghost Adventures, BuzzFeed, Unsolved, and America's Most Haunted Places have featured the mansion extensively, as well as, like I said, on many podcasts have covered this story as well. Sarah passed away in her sleep in 1922, and construction stopped immediately. Tools were left mid-task.
They gone.
Nails being halfway hammered in. Like, soon as she was dead, people dropped their stuff and they got the heck out of that house, right? Her will, written in 13 sections and signed 13 times, left little mention of the mansion itself. Today, the Winchester Mystery House is a National Historic Landmark and a must-see for ghost hunters, history buffs, and architecture nerds alike. So, was this mansion a supernatural maze, a cry for peace from a grieving woman, or just the most elaborate home renovation in history? The truth may be somewhere in between, but the Winchester Mystery House still stands, echoing with secrets behind every trapdoor.
Oh, man.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, the full scope of the story, when you hear it told in a full story of all the research and the history and stuff, it's really sad. She went through so much loss. She went through so much abuse from people from the other family when she inherited all this money and had the stake in the Winchester company.
Right.
That she went through. I mean, she was just really lost and sad and scared, and obviously dealing with some mental health issues. But yeah, she had to continually build this house. Some other research I had seen is that she would fire one set of workers and then bring another set in who didn't know anything about the last set that was there. Have them add on some hidden staircases, trapdoors.
Man.
Then she'd fire them, add a whole nother crew come in, and have them take off in a whole completely different direction. The thing is when I looked this up, and I didn't look for a picture, I don't know what this house looks like. It's got to be absolutely massive.
Be weird. Yeah.
It's got to. First of all, it's got to be weird. I don't even know if it's still standing to this day. I mean, they did say it's a National Historic Landmark, so it must be open to people to go check out. So obviously it is still standing to this day. Sorry about that. But I don't know what it looks like. So when Billy puts this out, he'll put a picture of the Winchester Mystery House. You guys can see what it looks like.
Yes.
But it's got to be absolutely massive. It's got to
for sure.
I mean, 160 rooms. Just that alone. Could you picture that?
It's Ghost Hotel.
So this is one houses that I would love to come see if the opportunity did arise. I wouldn't want to spend the night there or anything like that, but the craziness of it, the scope of it, and like the things that people have heard, like the disembodied voices and phantom footsteps and all this stuff. So,
man,
I think maybe she's there haunting the house to this day. Woo! I got the chills. Man. I think also because my basement's freezing, but on top of that, maybe it's cold because there's ghosts nearby, Billy.
Man.
If you see something behind me, let me know.
I will. Oh, snap. Your medals just moved back there. They're playing with your race medals.
No!
Uh-oh.
So, yes, crazy. That is the Winchester Mystery House, my friend.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's take this party down to Colorado.
Oh, Colorado. Okay.
Yes. So let's rewind a little bit. So in the early 1900s, F.O. Stanley, the same guy behind Stanley Steamer Automotives, was a wealthy businessman from Massachusetts.
What was that?
Just one
from
Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Oh my gosh.
Massachusetts.
He's from Boston.
He's from
Boston. Baston. There was just one problem with him. It was his health was failing.
Okay.
Doctors gave him a grim diagnosis of tuberculosis. I feel like that's been coming up a lot in this podcast and last podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
And so he moved to Colorado to live out those last few days to get some fresh mountain air, because that was considered a cure. And what was so crazy is it did help. In 1903, Stanley and his wife, Flora, packed up their bags and they headed to Estes Park, Colorado. And so while he was there, he decided to bring a little East Coast elegance to the wild frontier.
Okay.
So he built this beautiful, grand hotel, a place where the wealthy could escape the summer heat in just absolute luxury. So, I mean, he's there, might as well just make it comfortable, I guess, as millionaires or whatever he was do in the 1900s. So he built the Stanley Hotel, which was breathtaking. White pillared, red roof, surrounded by the beautiful towering Rocky Mountains. It was just a dream. Like Michelle and I, this past summer, we went to Denver and spent a week. She had a work conference and stuff, and I got to go and play and stuff. But we went up there and we drove by this hotel, and it's a place I'd like to visit. We'll get to more details in this later, but yeah. So let's go ahead and put that out there.
Is it beautiful looking?
It is. Oh man, yeah.
Okay.
It really is, and the mountains right there, and just it's just a gorgeous place. I love the Rocky Mountains. Oh my gosh, we had such a good trip. But so the hotel opened in 1909, and before long, the Stanley Hotel became known for something far beyond luxury. It became known for its ghost. Now, I don't know about you, but if I owned a hotel and died, I probably want to stick around and check things out. No, that's not true. That's not true. I'm gone.
You want to be trapped in a hotel for the rest of your life?
I'm not gonna. No, I'm not. Okay. Not. But apparently, FO wanted to. So, FO. I wonder what FO stands for. Francis Oliver. I don't know.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, we're just gonna call him Old Fran. But Stanley, he felt the same way. He felt that way because he stuck around, and people still see him roaming the halls, dressed in the finest turn-of-the-century suit, watching over his beloved creation, his hotel. And then there's his wife, Flora. She was a talented pianist, and even though she had been gone for nearly a century, guests still hear her playing the grand piano in the ballroom.
Oh,
soft,
creepy.
Beautiful melodies floating through the empty air. But is she inside? As soon as you walk in, everything stops, and then there's no one there. But that's just the beginning. Let's go to room 217, the most haunted room. Okay. This room is a famous room because it inspired Stephen King's The Shining.
Oh, man.
But before it was ever linked to the horror fiction movie, it had its own terrifying history. So in 1911, an employee named Elizabeth Wilson was tending to the room when there was a massive gas explosion that rocked the hotel. She survived but was severely injured, and ever since that, strange things had happened in room 217. Guests reported their belongings being mysteriously unpacked, which is kind of nice.
Yeah,
lights,
please unpack my stuff.
Yeah,
then get
yeah.
back
Please
out.
unpack my stuff. Yeah, thanks so much. Lights would flicker. An invisible presence would be hovering over beds. Some say Elizabeth is still there, making sure everything stays in order, but others claim there's something in the room, something far less friendly. And that is the room that Stephen King stayed in. And he had this nightmare. So in 1974, King and his wife Tabitha decided to take a little getaway. So they went to the Stanley Hotel. So right before it closed for the winter, because they would close in Colorado, it's crazy winters, right?
Right.
So they are only open during the pretty times, I guess. So this was right before it closed. And so they basically had the entire hotel to themselves. And so that night they stayed in room 217, which is fitting for Stephen King, one of the greatest horror like book and authors and movie makers out there. So that night he dreamt of his young son running down the hotel's hallways, screaming in terror, being chased by a fire hose that had come to life. So he woke up in a cold sweat, sitting straight up, and then he realized he had the perfect idea for a novel. And just that, in room 217, The Shining was born. But The Shining, it's just fiction, right?
Red rum.
So let's talk about the fourth floor.
Okay.
If you ever find yourself in the Stanley Hotel, the fourth floor is where things get really weird. Guests report hearing children laughing and running down the hallways at night. But when they step outside to check, the halls are empty. Some say it's the spirit of children who once stayed there when the fourth floor was used as a servant's quarter. Others believe, well, it's just something a little bit more unsettling about hearing those ghostly giggles at 2 a.m. So, oh my goodness. So if that's not enough, people staying in room 401 often wake up to the closet door swinging wide open on its own. Some have felt a ghostly hand grab their arm in the middle of the night. No, thank you.
Nope to all that.
No, thank you. Now, if you think that the hauntings are just limited to the main hotel, hey, think again, because just across the property sits the concert hall, another just paranormal hotspot. One of the most famous spirits on the property, his name is Paul, and he used to be a maintenance worker for the hotel, and you can hear his voice yelling, "Get out," to late night visitors.
Oh my God.
Don't worry. Paul's friendly. He's okay. He's a little more playful. He's that playful sinister. He's not like, oh, I'm going to do something sinister.
Okay, I got it.
He just likes his peace and quiet, they say. And then there's Lucy, a young woman who, according to legend, was a homeless person who was secretly living in the hotel. And then one cold night, she was discovered and forced out. That night, she did not survive, but now her spirit is said to linger in the concert hall, making her presence known to anyone who dares to explore after dark. So would you stay the night in the Stanley Hotel? I wouldn't stay in the LaLaurie Mansion. I would 100% book room 217. Just the historic, like, Shining and Stephen King vibe. I would 100%. But you do have to book it kind of far out in advance because, it is highly sought after.
I'm sure.
Room. But yeah, that's something I would do. Would you stay there?
I think we should do it together. For the
we
podcast.
should. Yeah,
that would be live recording that night.
Yes, that would be awesome. We really could. We could set up everything, and
we should do that.
We really should. I love Denver. I love going out there. I do it in a heartbeat. I think we're going to take the girls out there next year at some point and
that's
do the
cool.
Meow Wolf and do all the things and stuff like that. We had a great time.
That's so creepy though.
Yeah, man. But here's some little fun facts about the hotel.
Okay.
There was no heat in the hotel for decades. Like I said, it was only open during the pretty season. So when the snow came, nobody stayed there. So they never put like central heating in for, I guess, decades. There is a real hedge maze out there. So that's, The Shining. Why not have it, right?
So that's a level of spookiness, like a little hedge maze. Yeah.
That was put in 2015, which I think was a smart move, but just kind of adds to the fun of the hotel. They have a long list of like paranormal investigators that go out there and do all their things with their EVPs and their sensors and all their stuff and their cameras and stuff. Like I said before, room 217 is the most requested room. You might even have to book it years in advance sometimes. But if you're like a true horror fan of horror movies and stuff, why not put that on your bucket list if you're brave enough? There's a grand staircase called the Vortex. Now this is a hot spot for ghostly energy, it's like they say it's a supernatural portal, which leave guests feeling a sudden cold spot, dizziness. And then even some say that they get the sensation that they're being watched. So I guess when we go, we need to go play on the Vortex.
Yeah, get that big ghost energy right there.
Yep. Now, also, this hotel has a connection to Disney's Haunted Mansion.
Ooh, do tell.
Yes. So Imagineers working on Disneyland's Haunted Mansion took inspiration from multiple real-life locations, including the Stanley Hotel. Some eerie architectural details, like the long hallways and Victorian-era decor, are reflected of the Haunted Mansion. So, and this is interesting, especially if you're a Stephen King fan, and there's also one in the Haunted Mansion. There is a pet cemetery on the property.
Oh,
man, I watched Pet Cemetery. I watched Pet Cemetery as a kid, and I still have memories of how freaky that was. Jeez Louise. Oh my gosh. But here's a really fun fact. In the movie Dumb and Dumber, they're in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
And so they did a lot of filming in Colorado. Jim Carrey stayed at the Stanley Hotel while filming Dumb and Dumber in the 1990s. But spending a couple hours in room 217, he demanded to be moved, and then he left the hotel altogether. So
I bet.
He's never publicly explained why, but pretty much, I guess
I think we know.
I think we know, right? But yeah, that's the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. Oh man, dude. Yeah, we need to go. Let's do it. That'd be so much fun.
It would be fun. I think we'd both be like scared.
Oh my gosh.
But if we went if we did like a live recording of it, like starting like at like midnight or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just amp it up and people can watch, and hey, maybe the cameras pick up something we don't see. Oh, you gotta let us know.
Let's hope not. Oh, that was good. That was good. Getting ready to get into my next story. Remember the voice of God message Billy's going to put on at the very beginning about, some of these stories are kind of grisly and may not want to have younger listeners participate listening to these stories. So I'm going to put that out there ahead of time. Okay. Give you a little warning. So anyhow, here we go. Let's set the mood, right? Mm-hmm. Our next stop takes us to a quiet suburb on Long Island, a place where murder, fear, and myth converge. Ooh. Whether it's truly haunted or simply haunted by its past, this house has become one of the most infamous locations in American lore. Let's talk about the Amityville Horror House.
Oh,
yes, I was very excited to cover this one. So let's talk about it. Okay. On November 13th, 1974, 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr., he murdered his entire family. His parents, Ronald Sr. and Louise, and his 4 younger siblings, Dawn, 18, Allison, 13, Mark, 12, and John Matthew, 9, in their sleep while using a .35 caliber Marlin rifle.
Oh, God bless.
I know, it's absolutely awful. It's absolutely awful. Strangely, all 6 victims were found face down in their beds, undisturbed. No neighbors heard gunshots. Toxicology reports showed no drugs or sedatives. The eerie uniformity of the murders still baffles investigators to this day. So, DeFeo initially blamed the mafia, then confessed. He later gave multiple conflicting stories, including claiming his sister committed some of the murders. He was also convicted of 6 counts of second-degree murder, and then he spent the rest of his life in prison. Right?
Good.
So yeah, I mean, it's such a horrible history of this house and the things that happened to it. All those murders of the family, and the mystery surrounding all of that. But that describes the house. But it's what happened after the murders that turns this house into a legend. Okay, so in 1975, newlyweds George and Kathy Lutz moved into their home with their 3 children. They knew about the murders, but were not deterred. The house was huge and selling for a bargain. Well, you can guess why. But within 28 days, just 28 days, they fled in terror, claiming the house was infested with scary, demonic, paranormal forces. As a matter of fact, they literally left everything in the house and just left in the middle of the night and got out. And I think that would have been me. I'd be like, Leslie, get the dogs. We're out.
Bye.
But, bye. I grabbed a bottle of bourbon with me. That's all. And then we go.
That's a haunted bourbon now.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. The bourbon bottles are coming for me behind me.
Oh man.
But here's the thing. According to the Lutzes, they experienced, this is what they say they experienced anyhow, cold spots, sudden foul smells. Picture this one. Green slime oozing from walls and keyholes.
Ooh.
Nope. Mysterious black stains, swarms of flies. Objects levitating or flying across rooms. George waking at 3:15 every single night, the time DeFeo supposedly committed the murders. Kathy levitating from her bed and feeling an unseen presence. A demonic pig-like creature with glowing red eyes named Jody appearing at windows.
Jody the pig demon.
So I know it's crazy. I read that. I was like, why did they call it Jody for? I got to find out more information about that. I mean, so just picture some of those things. Could you imagine first about green slime oozing from walls and keyholes? Like, how would you rationalize that in your brain? Like, how do you even rationalize that happening? You can't, right?
Nope.
And then the fact about like objects floating, swarms of black flies in the house, the demonic pig-like creature. What? I mean, that's enough right there for me to never leave my house again, ever, if I'm going to run into something like that. But along with all those other things, they also claim that a visiting priest heard a disembodied voice scream, "Get out!" in a guest room where no one had ever stayed and no one has ever stayed again. Their story became a 1977 bestseller, The Amityville Horror by Jay Anson, and later inspired the 1975 film, which cemented the house's place in horror history. The house has since been the subject of over 20 films, books, and documentaries. But the story has faced very, very heavy scrutiny. Many investigators and journalists, including paranormal debunker Stephen Kaplan, found inconsistencies in the Lutz's claims. Even William Weber, Ronald DeFeo's former defense attorney, later claimed that he helped the Lutzes fabricate the haunting for profit, saying, "We created this horror story over many bottles of wine."
Oh, man.
The Lutzes, however, maintained their story for the rest of their lives. They took polygraph tests, which they passed, and insisted the haunting was real. Yet, subsequent owners of the house have reported no paranormal activity whatsoever. Today, the house at 112 Ocean Avenue has been renumbered and remodeled to deter tourists. But the legacy of the Amityville Horror remains a cornerstone of American paranormal pop culture. That's a mouthful. Raising the age-old question, what's scarier, ghosts or the stories we tell about them? So, was it a truly haunted house or just a house haunted by tragedy? Either way, Amityville still captures imaginations, a place where you blur the line between truth and terror. So, have you ever seen the movie?
I saw the Ryan Reynolds one.
Okay, I didn't see the Ryan Reynolds one. I saw the original one, and it is very, very scary. It is a creepy, creepy movie. when I first saw that, it scared the crap out of me. And then because you hear the lore around it, like this is true, this really happened.
Right.
I mean, there's no debate the people were murdered. That did happen. That was a thing.
Right.
There's stories talking about that the reason he murdered him because he heard voices that told him to kill his entire family, these demonic forces over top of him and things like that. None of it's ever, been proved. But then you have the Lutzes who move in afterwards. For someone to move into a home and be out in 23 days or 28 days? 28 days. I found it.
Yeah.
For 28 days later for that to happen, and then people leave literally in the middle of the night with everything left. I mean, there's got to be something going on for that to happen. But do you know that there's another famous movie, and I think it came out in 1975, actually, that also took place in Amityville, New York. Do you remember this movie?
Is it the Chainsaw Massacre? No, that's Texas, isn't it?
Yeah. Texas is in the name, Billy.
Yeah, right. Dang it.
God. Dang it.
What was it?
Amityville, New York was the filming place in the home of the movie Jaws.
Ooh.
Also took place there. So that's just a little extra Amityville trivia for you in case you didn't know. But could you imagine that, though? All those things happening?
Right.
That house. I mean,
Demon Pig. And then to go and buy a haunted house afterwards and it's broken and you want it to be haunted and there's no Demon Pig. What the heck?
And why was it called Jody? That I don't know either.
Jody. Demon Pig, you look like a Jody to me.
Yeah, definitely.
So an ex-girlfriend, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That looks like, remember your old girlfriend Jody? That looks just like that Demon Pig looking in the window.
Yep.
Jody, is that you?
That's Jody.
Jody. So that is the Amityville Horror House. There's so much more detail and research to do, but for the sake of the podcast, we try not to bring hours worth of research into it, but just enough to make us look like we're competent.
That's right.
Just enough, not
enough, right?
But so those are some of our most haunted places in America. But we also said we're going to be covering what, Billy?
A local place where we live to give you the history.
Give me the tea, girl.
Girl.
Spill that tea, Slay Queen.
Yes. Well,
my whole family's going to hate me for that. I'm sorry.
So one of the crazy things is here in Tuscaloosa, we actually do have one of the craziest haunted places in America. Okay. And so
tell me all about it.
Let me tell you about Bryce Hospital. Okay.
Bryce
and
Hospital.
And the haunted history behind this.
Is this in Tuscaloosa?
It is. It's on the University of Alabama. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I remember you hinting towards this. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a deep dive into a place with dark secrets, eerie whispers, and a past that refuses to stay buried. It's a place that once symbolized hope, but quickly became a house of horrors. We're talking about Bryce Hospital in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, one of the oldest psychiatric hospitals in the United States. It's abandoned hallways, forgotten patients, and shadows that never seem to leave. If you listen closely, you might just hear the echoes of a tragic past. So let's start at the beginning. Back in 1861, right as the Civil War was about to erupt, a brand new hospital was opening its doors in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Known then as Alabama Insane Hospital, its first superintendent was Dr. Peter Bryce. He had a vision, a humane treatment center for the mentally ill. Now, that might not sound like a big deal today, but back then, psychiatric hospitals were basically nightmarish prisons, basically.
Yeah.
Patients were often locked up, shackled, treated like wild animals. But Dr. Bryce believed in something radical: kindness, therapy, and fresh air. He made sure that the first patients were treated with dignity, no chains, no isolation, just care. That sounds really nice, right? A beacon of hope in a dark time. But like all good things, it didn't last. So as the years went on, Bryce Hospital became something else entirely. Overcrowded, underfunding, and the growing number of forgotten souls turned this once humane institution into a living nightmare. By the 20th century, it housed thousands of patients, far beyond what it was built to handle.
Wow.
So reports had started surfacing saying that there was abuse, neglect, and horrible experiments happening there. Patients were subject to electroshock therapy, ice baths, lobotomies, some of those even without consent. Those who were too difficult to manage, they were locked away into isolation there, sometimes never to be seen again. It wasn't just the mentally ill that ended up there. Women who didn't conform to society, people with disabilities, even individuals suffering from depression or epilepsy. Many were sent to Bryce and never left. Some were
so sad.
Yeah, some weren't even mentally ill at all. And as if that wasn't dark enough, some say the hospital's dead never really left either. So, abandoned hospitals are creepy enough, right? On their own.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But Bryce is different. Even after much of the faculty was shut down, visitors and urban explorers had reported strange sounds echoing throughout the empty halls. Disembodied whispers, footsteps that followed but never appeared, doors slamming shut on their own. Some say they have seen figures lurking in the windows, figures dressed in old hospital gowns, staring, watching. One of the most famous ghost stories involves the screams. People walking near the hospital late at night have reported hearing blood-curdling screams, cries coming from inside, so chilling that they called the police, only for officers to find the building completely empty.
That sounds absolutely terrifying, Billy.
Yeah,
that sounds absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. Now there's also the Shadow Man. Numerous visitors claim to see a tall, dark figure standing at the end of long hallways, no face, no features, just a black mass vanishing there after a second. Some believe it's the spirit of the former doctor watching over his long forgotten patients. Others think it's something far worse. Now, this hospital had secret tunnels and forgotten graves. So here's where things get really unsettling. Beneath Bryce Hospital, there are tunnels. These are underground passages connecting different parts of the hospital, allowing doctors and staff to move patients in secret. Some say that these tunnels were used to transport the dead. Patients who passed away after being experimented on, their disembodied body parts rolled through the hallways underneath these tunnels. Now there is, yeah. So they have these secret tunnels under the hospital. And speaking of the dead, Bryce had its own cemetery. Thousands of former patients were buried on the hospital grounds, many in unmarked graves, no records, no headstones, just lost souls with nowhere else to go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's no surprise that ghost hunters and thrill seekers used to seek out Bryce and try to go ghost hunting. There are so many stories of people like my friends that would sneak in there when it was abandoned, like as teenagers, and roam the halls. Of course, a lot of times you just find junkies and different people in there. But some of the freakiest little stories just I hear from people that I know that like snuck in there when they were younger and stuff. The graveyard, they're actually moving bodies right now as we speak. So they're moving part of the graveyard that's by the river because they're going to be expanding the bridge that's right there. They're making it to like a 4-lane bridge, and so they're having to relocate some bodies, and so they're up there now taking care of all of that as we speak. If you drive,
that place won't even be more haunted than it already is. Just completely unhousing bodies and spirits from their resting place.
But here's the thing about it. Bryce hospital, it was obviously run down it was built in the Civil War.
Right.
But it was like this beautiful like architecture, right? And so in 2010, the University of Alabama, because this is on its property, the property right there is right on campus, or where campus has expanded to over the years just because of the growth of the university. I don't know. We had a little coach named Nick Saban that won many national championships and have brought in so many new patients, new students.
Oh, he brought patients in.
Right.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. So the university bought it and has completely, over the years, have been working on this since we've moved here, been renovating, and it's now, it is now like it has a welcoming center to the university inside. It is completely remodeled, beautiful. It houses the School of Theater and Dance. There's a whole theater in there. They completely remodeled it and everything. I still don't think I would want to be taking classes in there, and then like have to stay late and then still walk down the halls, even though it's brand new. Basically, I still might feel a little uneasy. But I've never
especially since they're digging up bodies in the back. This place is gonna be more haunted than ever.
I have drove by there hundreds and hundreds of times. It is right there. Across the street from the rec center where we like to go swim in the summer. And then right across from some fraternity houses and stuff like that. But it's this beautiful grounds, beautiful trees, and it's a beautiful place. The school did a really, really good job with it, but it does have a dark and sinister past.
Oh, gosh. So you've never found your way in there ever before?
No. Once we moved here, the university had already bought it, and it's been under construction for like cranes, and like basically ripped it to the bare bones. And it's a brand new facility basically. So
I would love to get a follow-up about it, of more common stories about people hearing haunting things.
Could you just imagine? Could you just imagine like seeing like the no-face Slender Man in the hall?
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness!
That's a whole other story.
Oh shoot! Yeah, right. Goodness gracious!
Oh, that was good. Thank you. Thanks for sharing, Billy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up with my haunted hometown in Cincinnati, Ohio. So today we're talking about one of the most notoriously haunted locations in the entire Queen City, and that's the Sedamsville Rectory. Yeah, this place isn't just spooky, it's the real deal. Paranormal investigators from all over the country have been drawn there like moths to a ghostly flame. So let's go ahead and set the scene for our story today, Billy. So just west of downtown, tucked in an old-fashioned neighborhood near the Ohio River, sits this unassuming red brick building. Now, from the outside, it looks like something out of a forgotten time, worn, weathered, heavy with history. But inside, oh man, it's a whole different scary story. So the Sedamsville Rectory was originally built in the late 1800s and served as a home for priests from a nearby Catholic church. At first glance, it seems like just another old religious residence. But according to locals and a long list of ghost hunters, it holds such a much deeper and darker past.
Ooh.
Now, whispers of abuse, tragedy, and even mysterious deaths or two have swirled around this place for decades. People say they have seen full disembodied apparitions, shadowy figures that move across rooms, and have even heard disembodied voices echoing through the halls with no one else around. Yeah, no thanks. Some visitors claim they've been touched, scratched, tickled. No, I just had tickled in. Touched, scratched, or even pushed by unseen forces. That's enough for me right there. I feel somebody scratch me or push me,
I'm done. I'm gone.
I'm gone. I wouldn't even been there in the first place, but that would have been it. I've been out there. There are reports of cold spots that suddenly appear in the middle of the summer, and EVP recordings that captured voices saying things like "Get out" or "He's watching you." The "He's watching you" one.
Nope.
No.
Who's watching me, and why are you talking to me? Why are you watching me?
Yeah. Who are you?
You're watching me too. Who are you?
You're watching. Yeah. Are you Jody the demon pig?
Me. I don't know this other guy. You're the one talking to me. I'm worried about you.
He's watching you. And then the other guy's like, no, he's watching you.
Yeah,
no he's watching you.
Yeah. And then while they're fighting with each other and distracted,
that's when you get the hell out.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. You guys fight with each other. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
So that's a big nope for me. But here's when it gets even creepier. All right. So check this out. Let me get my paper split here. Paranormal teams who have investigated the Sedamsville Rectory say there's a particularly aggressive male spirit that haunts the second floor. He's been known to mess with equipment, slam doors, and even send some of the bravest investigators running for the exit.
Oh, man.
Some believe he was a former priest who hid some very dark secrets in his life and now refuses to leave in death. Even the basement isn't safe. Some believe ritualistic activity may have taken place down there, with strange symbols found etched into the walls. Whether the stories are urban legend or something more sinister, we'll let you decide. Check it out for yourself. I'm not going to find out. But here's the kicker, right? One investigator swears they saw a shadow figure crawl up the basement wall.
No.
Let me say that again. They saw a shadow figure crawl up the basement wall and disappear into the ceiling.
We got Spider-Man ghosts? No.
Spider-Man ghost. I mean, so what do you do after you see it? You just want to burn the place to the ground at that point? Like, yeah, I just saw the shadow crawl. The whole thing about the crawling is what gets me, right?
Nope.
And so, like you said, what do? Do you burn it? Do you leave, run away, whatever? So whether you're a believer or a skeptic, there's no denying that the Sedamsville Rectory has earned its spot as a haunted reputation, and its haunted reputation. It's a place where history refuses to rest, and something or someone still walks the halls after dark.
Ooh, man.
Nope.
Dude. No, thank you. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
I know, that's why I put that paper away. I'm going to burn it out in the fire pit afterwards. I'm not leaving this story laying around in my basement. If you guys have heard my story about my haunted house stories before, I'm not dealing with that.
You're going to need to put your dumbbell by the bathroom door tonight.
I know. Now I'm kind of freaked out thinking about it. Leslie, is that you?
What? No, I'm right here. Oh,
no. Wait a minute. I think I see a demon pig in the hallway. I don't even want to joke about that. No. It's out.
It's gone.
Well, today was spooky, man. Today was spooky. It gave me a lot of chills reading some of those stories. Yeah.
Man.
I'm going to, besides the Stanley with Billy, I'm not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, that's the only place I feel comfortable enough to go.
Yeah.
I think that would be actually kind of fun. But nowhere else.
No. So, I hope you guys had fun with this one today. We were looking forward to doing this one for a while, and we had fun with our research. And I love hearing these stories I've never heard of before. And hopefully, I spooked you out a little bit too, Billy.
Ooh, yes, I like it. I like being spooked a little bit.
So, you, our listeners, our watchers, if you like being spooked also and had a good time with us, please go leave a spooky 5-star or nice written review for us out there on Apple Podcasts, so we can get some more people to come along and be scared on this journey with us. And like I said, I hope you guys were spooked with us, scared with us. If you were, let us know in our community, Billy. Where can they find us at?
Let's go over to Facebook and join our page. Hit that like button. Hey, on our videos, leave a comment. Interact with us. We love to talk with you.
Please.
You can go also to Instagram at All the Everything Podcast. Also, the same name at TikTok. And then if you go to YouTube, you can watch this whole episode online, plus some awesome shorts as well at All the Everything Podcast. Easy peasy.
Yes. Easy peasy. Billy does a great job with all the social media and all the shorts and stuff. So go respect his hard work and check him out there as well. But as always, thank you guys for joining us for another amazing episode of All the Everything Podcast. We're so grateful for you guys and for listening every week, and we can't wait to be with you again next time. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, y'all.